All right. So welcome everyone on the Dash Platform Sprint Review. We are going to spend the next hour showing you some updates regarding what we have accomplished in this sprint. And basically, we are waiting for your questions in the comments. My name is Balázs Vézi. I'm Scrum Master for the platform teams. And please make sure when you are having questions that you also put in the context of that question. So later, when we are coming back to the questions in a Q&A part at the very end, we could understand what you meant by that. All right, without further ado, I give it to Maciek, our product owner.
Hey guys, Maverick here, and I would like to bring up a little bit of agenda for today's meeting. We'll be having lots of topics, lots of tech topics, and also a bit of a demo. So without any, without extending the initial part, I will just summarize the sprint goals that all of our teams were focusing on during those 2 weeks. So for Tender Dash, it was backporting the Tender Mint Master and a bit of design work on withdrawal transitions. On GrowthDB, our storage, it was documentation because like the project got so mature that like it's the last moment to to think of comprehensive docs for releasing it as a complete package. SDK was focusing on integrating continued integration of SPV block headers into the wallet and further improvements of the developers specs for the whole SDK. And for protocol, finalizing fees and design of fee distribution pools. However, what is really important to add here, well, during those 2 weeks, we all faced several issues and nasty problems around our testnet, and this both comes up to the core and platform, and like the firefighting activities overtook many of those initial plans. So we need to be aware of that, well, this will be covered in more details by our team members. And yeah, from this moment, I would like to give it all to Dima so that he starts with Tender Dash and we move on like that.
Well, hi everyone. I'm Dmitry, software developer at Tender Dash team. Well, quick update from us. So for this sprint, we planned working on the final iteration of backporting ABCI++. Well, sorry. And the current status of this task is in review. Well, that means we're already done with work on it, and I hope in the next couple of days the PR will be merged with a new version of Tender Dash that will be v09, and I hope we start to test also. Along with this, we could find a consensus for the solution of withdrawal transactions. Finally, we decided to use a vote extension feature that was backported for v09, and we need to modify some of the code which we backported for our needed, and I hope we'll be we can use it almost everything from the box, and the current status of this refactoring in the progress. And as a bonus, Lukasz created a very useful tool, ABCI dump. This tool is used to debug ABCI protocol. It is a CLI application that sniff the traffic, parse and print the result and output. Yeah, it should be very useful working on somewhere on Mastodon, for instance. What else? For the next sprint, we plan finalize backport of ABCI++, create the first release of v09, and probably try to deploy it on our DevNet, and finish working on withdrawal transactions. Yeah, that's pretty much it from us.
I'd like to add something very quickly, Dima.
Please.
Well, one big difference between Tenderdash and Tendermint, actually, I would say the biggest difference is that Tenderdash uses threshold signatures and everything that comes with it, with what we call a scalable Byzantine fault-tolerant approach, compared to Tendermint, which uses practical Byzantine fault tolerance. Now, we use the same technology, or we will, as we implement withdrawal transactions, on the vote extensions, meaning that the vote extensions, individual nodes will vote, send a signature, and then these signatures will be threshold recovered, and we follow the same logic of Tenderdash compared to Tendermint. Tendermint does not have the ability to threshold recover. So this is kind of, I did want to kind of explain to everybody watching what the difference is and what we're changing. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. And I'll pass it to Wisdom.
Hey guys, my name is Wisdom. I'm an engineer on the GroveDB team. So this sprint, we worked on element flags. Element flags is a way to store some kind of metadata when inserting element, and then retrieve the metadata along with the element data. And this is also part of like the CRUS system. So the flags are secured by CRUS. Bidirectional references, this was completed at the early parts of the sprint. But we are thinking of making it optional so that the storage cost is not, you don't need to bear the storage cost if your application is smart enough to prevent dangling references. Proofs, the pull request was finally merged. So that's something that was cool that happened this sprint also. Now, multiple tree batching. Last sprint, we had batch validation left to do, but finally it's multiple tree batching is done. It's merged also. So the initial version only supports insertion and deletion. We still need to add some more operations to the batching functionality to make it feature complete. So this is going to be done in future sprints. In progress, we have proof documentation, sidetracked during the sprints, but we're going to continue this in the next sprint, and hopefully it's done next sprint. And then fee computation for deletion. So the goal here is to modify the internal operations of GroveDB to return the processing costs. And we're going to be starting with deletion, essentially. So that is going to be for the next sprint also. Okay. That's SDK.
Again, I'd like to add something very quickly. I just want to congratulate the GroveDB team. Not only did they pretty much finished all their tasks. This is not a very good representation because like, for example, fee computation for deletion, that was added in the last 2 weeks. So a lot of their tasks were finished and then they took on extra ones. So when you guys see in progress here, it's more stuff was added and now it's in progress. So do want to add that.
Thank you. All right. Can we move on with the SDK? Igor.
Hey, everyone. My name is Igor. I'm SDK engineer. And for this sprint, as Maciek said, we had an ongoing goal to integrate SPV headers into the wallet library and improve our documentation. But aside of that, we also had an urgent request from the incubator to make our SDK work properly in web-based apps. And we decided to implement a zero configuration SDK bundle so that web app developers never struggle with configuring SDK themselves, configuring Webpack, providing Node.js polyfills, and also for users of Create React app. This is quite popular React framework. This is a tool for React framework. It's not possible to configure to change Webpack configuration without the ejection or rewiring it, and it leads to a very poor developer experience and in general not advised. So yeah, we implemented a workflow for the documentation. We reviewed many options, and special thanks for Jeremy, the FAS, with assisting with it. And yeah, we decided how could we automate that and spot any differences without to exclude a human factor. When someone forgets to update documentation or for whatever reason leaves it outdated. So we shall implement this in our further sprints. As of zero configuration SDK bundle, I already said. If you don't mind, I would love to. I have a demo for that, but there is a small issue I have, and I would like to postpone it until the end. So yeah, if it's not a problem, let's do it in the end of the sprint review.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's pretty much it. As of block headers, unfortunately, I started doing that, and unfortunately, we faced the issues with testnet, and this researching and investigating these problems basically took over almost all my time. So couldn't do much in that regard this sprint, and we'll continue in the next one. Thank you for the attention. Handing over microphone to Mikhail.
Hey everyone, I'm Mikhail from SDK team, and we were working on the one bug which were incorrectly working on the wallet persistence side, like the data saved for different chains and different wallets was integrated in the same storage keys. So we separated it into different wallet IDs. So storage now have different wallet IDs, and through different wallet IDs we save different chain data. So now it works correctly when you use SDK with different wallets with different mnemonics. So yeah, and also there is one task which just moving some storage persistent storage files generated during the platform test execution to the different folder to mess up with the git working directory. So yeah, kind of like that. That's it from my side.
All right. Thank you, Igor. Thank you, Mikhail. And let's move on to the protocol part. Ivan.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, so this sprint, we continue to work on the fees, and we are busy with the design of fee distribution pools. We'll talk about it a little bit later. So eventually, we accomplished the integration of the platform between ITSO and new core 18. We did a bunch of fixes, and to prove that everything works, we tested new release candidate with the platform on our internal devnet. 15 nodes devnet is like normal size, and also to make sure that it's like rotation works, like there is nothing happening we tested on the larger DevNet, and all tests are passed, and we all satisfied. But since we having right now Core Beta 4 on testnet, we had to keep backward compatibility of the platform with Beta 4 as well, because our plan is to do the rolling deployment on testnet of the core. So we tested this compatibility as well successfully. But regarding testnet, Maciek already told that we faced some issues during the sprint, and so technically we find a bunch of problems and bugs. That's a good news, because that's the purpose of testnet. The bad news that recovery process would take too much time, but we really want to proceed with the Core 18 deployment on testnet. So we made decision to wipe L2 platform data on testnet, just to don't wait more with Core, don't delay more with Core 18 release. Core, like the payment chain remains untouched, so it's only the platform information. Yeah.
All right. Let's move on to the next one, Kostya.
Yeah, thank you. I'm Konstantin. I'm a platform software developer. We presented the fee calculation, or the fee prediction, as we say. To predict fees, we collect operations and their costs without execution, without real execution in GS drive, RS drive, and DPP. We use worst case scenario to make the prediction be a little bit bigger than the real fees. So we can say if the user has enough balance to pay or fee or not. Basically, it's already work, and Ivan will show you a small demo, so you can see how it works.
I would just set a small explanation. So the idea of the prediction, why do we need to predict the fees and calculate this worst case scenario? So basically we have like two-step of validation for state transitions. And on the first step, we validate we calculate the fees and validate the identity balance has enough funds to pay for the state transition. But at this step, we're not executing state transition completely. So we're not validating the state transition against the state, and we do not like store the state transition in the state. So, but at this point, we need to already predict how much the cost of these operations for state validation and applying. Yeah, that's why we have this prediction. We need this prediction logic. So let me show you how it works a little bit. We already present our bench tool to do some performance benchmarks. For this purpose, we added a new type of benchmarks. So previously it was just a tool to create documents and tool to measure the function elapsed time, the execution time. And we added the new benchmark type is like state transition, where we can create state transition, and they broadcasting and we measuring and collecting all the information about. Unfortunately, I didn't have enough time to implement different type of state transition, which for sure would be more representative. But I guess that's only the creation of data contract. But I think you will get the idea. So let me start my node really quick.
When he's saying start node, he means node.js, right?
No, I mean the local network.
Oh, local network. Oh, okay.
I thought it was a joke. Yeah, so the tests are running against the real network. That's a point of this bench suit, and it takes the all information, all the from the real drive logs from the nodes of the local network. So the whole process. Okay. And bench. My favorite kitty.
Where's the kitty?
I mean, it's here, but it's just sleeping now. Oh, it's woke up.
I have no idea what you're talking about. Oh, there's the kitty.
You should see the screen. So we're broadcasting only 10 state transitions, and then collect information from the logs for the report. So what we see here, this is just the timings. You already saw this. The overall time, relate basic, relate fee, signature, state, and the apply process. That's basically the main steps. What contains the state transition execution process. And here's the fees. So this is the predicted storage fees and actual storage fees. So we can see that they're pretty accurate.
So Ivan, why don't you walk us through it? Which one's the predicted? Which one's the actual?
The first column is predicted. The second is actual storage costs, storage fees. The same. I mean, it's not the best representation. You don't have enough time to make it better.
No, it obviously makes sense because for data contract, right? Your predicted and your actual will always be the same because you don't have to deal with you don't have to deal with documents, but processing will be different. So that makes sense.
Yeah, so we had seen that the processing is higher, and when we do processing, like expect the worst case. So, and here is the prediction, the final fees, predicted and actual. And here we see the list of operations. They're almost the same, except that we assume, I think this part when we're validating the actual is the data contract, is this ID is already exist or not. And I think this is the.
I think you have about.
Worst,
your predicted final is twice your predicted storage plus your predicted processing, right? Oh no, maybe.
Whereas, what do you mean? Sorry.
Why is the predicted final not the predicted storage plus the predicted processing?
Isn't it? I guess it's supposed to be, no?
Yes, it's it's supposed to be, but it's not. 126 is not 170. Anyways, I think you just have a slight, maybe you multiply times 2 by accident somewhere.
Yeah,
Sure.
maybe I will double check it. And here we see that we predicted. I think this separation, which is higher, therefore it's probably when we're checking that is the data construct exist or not. And in the worst case scenario, we always assume that it exists, and the size of the data construct is the max size, basically, is the max size of state transition. Yeah, so that's how it works. The work's still in progress. We still need to cover some operations, especially the querying of the documents and the documents deletion. And that's what we're gonna. And yeah, numbers not ideal at the moment. That's what we wanna proceed with in the next sprint. Yeah, thank you.
Thanks. Let me reshare my screen. And Sam.
Oh, hello. I'm Samuel Westridge, CTO at Dash Core Group. I will talk about some of this other work that we worked on. One of them is the fee distribution pools. So you might be asking yourself, okay, so they haven't finished fees. Why are they moving on to the next phase? Well, different people are super specialized in different aspects of fees. So we need other collaborators on our project to work on different things just to optimize time. So one of those things is the next thing after fees. It's the fee distribution pools. How do our fees generally work? Well, the users of the platform, they pay fees. And then afterwards, those fees go to distribution pools, and the distribution pools distribute to masternodes. So this is kind of the second part of the whole system. And then after when they're on masternodes, then you have to withdraw from the masternodes on L2 to addresses on L1. So that's the whole system. The fee distribution pools is probably the easiest part of any of the subsections, I would say. So a DIP has been written on that, and we'll be releasing that DIP soon. It's done, but we also have a DIP generally on the other parts of fees, and it would be kind of nice to release them together as they kind of form a story all together. So we might be waiting for another few DIPs. Okay, so the other thing that I worked on quite a lot is the query validation logic. What does this mean? Well, RS Drive is our storage layer above GroveDB that does secondary indexes and basically takes queries that developers can write in either like in our query syntax, and then it translates that query syntax into something that GroveDB can understand, which is a path query. And this work had previously, the validation of the query had previously existed in JS Drive, and it also was built in RS Drive just because the feature was built in RS Drive. So when we switched in V22 from using GroveDB, sorry, not from using GroveDB, from using MongoDB to GroveDB, we had an initial set of features that we did query validation on beforehand. That was in JS Drive. And when we rewrote things with RS Drive and GroveDB, we had a different validation logic. So in order to simplify the system, we decided to only use the RS Drive's query validation logic, but to make sure that we aren't missing any cases from the old system. So that was done, and it's now in review. Yes. What I think, and one of the bugs that we were originally trying to fix was because this invalid order by property normalized label. That's basically the reason why we decided to do this switch. Well, because when you're validating things in two parts, they can fail in part A or they can fail in part B, and it's just not a very good structure. We should only really have one validation, plus it's a lot faster. So that was done. Okay, we can move on to the next slide. Oh, this one's going to be interesting. Anton?
Yep, sure. Hi, guys. I'm Anton. And right now I'm working with another teammate, Pavel, on porting Rust to DPP, as you might have already heard from the last sprint review.
DPP to Rust.
Yeah, DPP to Rust. Well, if a quick recap, what does that mean? That means that we will have one unified Dash platform protocol library that can be shared across different platforms. And hopefully at some point in the future, we also will replace the JavaScript one, so we don't have to maintain that one as well, because Rust can be compiled to WASM, which is also compatible with all the browsers, all the modern browsers, and also can be used in the browser environment. So we don't lose any features, but gain some speed and reliability on this side as well. And we're trying to experiment a little bit with the format. How do we do reviews? And last time we showed a big table with all the tasks that have to be finished before Rust DPP will be counted kind of as a completed thing. And it actually didn't even fit the screen. There was too much stuff. So for this sprint review, we decided to make it a little bit different. And instead of a big chunk or big table with all the things, with a lot of technical details, we decided to experiment a little bit with this little progress bar. So as you can see from the last sprint, we accomplished 11% of the tasks that needed to be done. And right now we stand at about 61% compared to 50% before. The exact stuff we were working on this sprint is everything that's related to identity creation and state transitions, identity validation, asset lock validation, all that sort of thing. And also on document state transitions, document batches, and signing of the state transitions. And that what was accomplished during the next sprint. I won't include these tasks onto the slides, so please let me know which format is actually would be more. Which format basically do you like more, guys? Having this small progress bar, or the big table, or maybe something different? Maybe you actually have ideas, so please submit them in comments to this video, and we'll figure out something for the next time. That is my update. Thank you very much. And I give word back to Balázs.
Yeah, thank you very much, Anton. So let's talk a bit about the testnet setup documentation. Adam?
Hello, everyone. I'm Adam. I'm QA engineer in platform. And I'm going to talk about testnet, setup testnet document. Because this document was outdated for a while, and we brought it back to life Actually, I'd like to show you where you can find it, because maybe not every one of you aware of that. So as you can see, from the page you can go to documentation section and user docs. Then you can go to master node and testnet setup, and here we are. So we generally updated the documentation with platform services from monorepo, and we did a few major changes, in my opinion, like we described the new way how to install and update the Dashmate. I can show you. Actually, it is here. So as you can see, we use npm instead of git commands. We updated comments also for installing dependencies and configuration for Dashmate, as well as the modules under manual installation. Thank you. We also did some minor changes, like updated the links. For example, you can see that, there is an up-to-date Dashmate documentation. We also updated the link for Blockchain Explorer and so on. We also updated some names of buttons and sections for the Dashcore app to reflect the current naming and paths from the Dashcore app. We also identified several problems during the document review, and we managed to fix incorrect image versions and config in Dashmate. For example, lack of master public keys, which are required. So, to make it possible to connect to testnet without manually fixing the config. We also faced the Docker Compose issue, and we already addressed that issue because currently Dashmate doesn't handle version 2 properly, and we propose to use previous version for a while until we fix that issue. And that's pretty much all from my side. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Adam. And I should reshare and continue with the plans.
Yeah, sure.
Sorry guys, I was going to show a demo at the end of that. Let me do that quickly.
All right, Igor, please. I stopped sharing.
Yep. Sharing right now. So first, I will give you some numbers. So I mentioned the Create React App tool for front-end development in React. And as you see, it has this amount of weekly downloads, 100,074. And with the change with SDK zero config build, we instantly enabling our Dash for this amount of users. Of course, some of them might be like recurring CI builds and installs, and I'm not really sure whether they filter out unique IDs and so on, but still, this tool is very popular, and this is basically where beginner front-end devs start. And this time I decided to try this out and to get a little bit fancy. Let's see if it plays out well for me, because I had some issues with Dashmet at my local end, because my machine is quite overloaded. So basically, I am using Dash identities and DPNS, and let's see if we do something with that. Yeah, so as you see, I managed to register the name in DPNS. It shows my balance. I will refresh the app so that it picks state from the platform. Yeah, here I am. And I will show I need to show my ID now. Yeah, this is basically the app. As you see, we have Dash dependency in package JSON, no Webpack configuration. This is the config is hidden, so we don't augment anything. We don't basically we don't suffer from configuring things ourselves. We simply do import Dash, instantiate SDK, and we are good to go to use it in front-end applications. So yeah, we shall release it this week, I think. Yeah, that's it from my side now.
Thank you very much, Igor.
Awesome.
Awesome, Igor. Yeah, thanks for that. Okay,
I just want to say one thing. When you say release, let's just be clear that it is the release against testnet and not mainnet. So there is no confusion.
Yeah, it's even a release against the into NPM package registry. So yeah, it's not really depends on testnet, and yeah, to clear out.
Yeah,
this is just SDK package.
Thank you. Maverick?
Yeah, okay, guys. So like before we go to the question time, let's summarize at least priorities and goals for upcoming 2 weeks. That would be for protocol, obviously continue on the fee system, and moving to the implementation state of the fee distribution pools as they have been already think over and designed. SDK, well, mainly the priorities are the same, and guys will be continuing on the on similar processes that were on the table last 2 weeks. If we consider GrowthDB, which is on the next slide, that a bit of let's say improvements and new functionalities like the storage size calculation, documentation of proofs, with tender dash finalization, the backport finalization of the AVCA++, but unfortunately without the same block execution still. And yeah, moving on to the withdrawal transactions implementation that was covered earlier by Sam and a bit by Dima. And yeah, but let's remember that yeah, like the most important thing right now is to set up the testnet in a proper shapes. That means considering both core and then the platform, which will be cooperating with core V18. But I guess that it's just like a matter of time, and we can move on to the with the planned scope for particular teams. Yeah, so thanks, and let's move to the question zone.
All right, thank you very much. So we had quite a few questions, starting with Sean Jones. The first question was, are we adding items in which in turn delay platform release?
I'll take that one.
Yeah. please.
If you don't mind. So I would say it's kind of been the opposite, and we've actually reduced the scope of platform in the last 2 years. We had proof of service, if people remember that. We've had some few other things that I probably don't remember off the top of my head. We add items that are critical. Like, for example, we are adding the fact that you have to, it's not added, it's just part of the roadmap, and we haven't removed it. We're not so much adding new things as we are, some of the things that we have are just taking longer than expected. So that's where the delays are coming from. It's not really from new big epics. It's more from tasks in the epics that were not completely flushed out at the beginning that sometimes take longer than expected. Now, this is actually easily verifiable when we look at we have a list of items that we have and we've had for over 9 months. There's nothing new added to that list, if I'm not mistaken. So that's to answer that question.
Yeah, thank you very much. Also, I would like to add the second question of Sean Jones, which is, yeah, I appreciate the tech details, but it's way above my abilities. The sprint in January 22, we talked about the release in June 22. What change I would like to know from the team here, will platform release this year?
Okay, so we have to look about where the different teams are on. As it's kind of hard to see it based off of this review, but GroveDB is very close to being finished for everything that we need for mainnet. Probably will happen in June, sometime in June. I don't think I've told them this yet, but they will probably help out another team to move things a little bit faster. Now, so we have 5 teams that are all working on their part. Actually, more than that, we have 7 teams all working on their part. And some teams will finish earlier, some will finish later. We're probably seeing, GroveDB will probably finish first, then TenderDash, and then Platform and Core will be the last 2 where I see the most work and the more risk. So we'll probably get other developers from other teams once they finish on their sections to come in and help other teams. I hope that answers your question.
All right, let us know.
It actually didn't. Sorry. Will platform release this year?
Yeah.
As everything looks, as I see tasks advancing, I definitely do think it's going to release this year. I think it's going to release not even in December, but the real thing is, what does release mean? Release means that we have a platform package that with v19 that we distribute to the nodes. So it will probably, it's hard to say, it will probably release this year from everything I can see. Will it activate this year? I'm not 100% sure of that.
But it doesn't fully depend on us.
Yeah, because activation is up to the masternode network and the miners.
Thank you very much for clarifying those. So we had 2 questions from Shiny Bluestone. I think we covered them. Please, Shiny Bluestone, if we haven't covered, let us know. And
Oh, no. We did not cover the update on Dash Core 18.
All right.
I'll give an update on that. We released RC5 yesterday. We had the pull request for RC5 on Friday. We released it yesterday. We deployed it to a DevNet today. There hasn't been any issues. The plan is when our infrastructure engineers wake up tomorrow morning that they will deploy it on testnet. That is the plan. So nobody has let me up till now know of any problem. It seems everything is completely working fine. I have to verify with the teams, but as it currently stands right now, the orders are to deploy it to testnet tomorrow morning. I hope that answers the question. I really, I'm like crossing my fingers myself. I really am praying nobody sends me a message saying, oh, there's this little bug, but I don't think so.
All right. Then we had this question. Please explain why testnet has been down recently. We covered some part, but if you can summarize in plain English.
I can help with it.
Okay, how about I give a quick explanation and then Ivan, if I miss anything, you can answer.
Sounds good.
Okay, so a few months ago when we released V22, there was a bug and the chain stalled. At that point, we created a fix that re-enabled testnet without wiping the data. That fix worked till very recently when another crash occurred and the chain wasn't able to recover because of the first issue. The first issue seems to us to not really be worth the time at the moment to fix. So as RC5 gets deployed tomorrow of core, we will be wiping testnet to start fresh with platform just to save the devs some time. Every time that there's one of these errors, it takes days to repair the network. That is good practice, but we need to be cognizant of our time. So the reason why testnet was down was because of an early bug in V22 is the answer. Is that correct, Ivan?
Yeah, it's known bug. It still exists. We have a memory leak in drive. That's why we lost the nodes. And actually, the fix that we made first time, it wasn't to recover. It was we just restarted the nodes and the network recovered. But during this process, for some reason, we got some inconsistent data in the chain, and we don't know why, but somehow the chain jumped on over it. And now, when we try to recover, when we face this new issue, I think it was several of them. It's something is up hash again. It's not on killer. So we try to recover the node and rescan the chain, and we faced this basically data corruption, what we made first time, something like this. But it's different issues, and what we need, probably we're gonna work closely in version 24, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes. Let me see. Are there any more questions?
Yes, there is one more question, which is basically not related to platform, but maybe we can answer it. Is there a marketing team, and what is it doing?
Sure. So currently we don't really have a marketing team. We have more of a communications team. We can think of marketing as marketing to our users and also explaining to our community what we're currently working on, and they're not exactly the same thing. Marketing to new users is, for example, trying to find people that might be interested in crypto as a form of payment, and telling them about Dash. We currently are no longer doing that at DCG. Now, what we are doing at DCG is making sure that our Twitter and our social media and is much more present, and that we are more on podcasts. We are more on engaged with our community. And so we have 2 people inside of DCG working to make sure that we are more engaged with our community and the crypto communities in general, and explaining the benefits of Dash platform to developers in the overall ecosystem.
All right, thank you very much. I see no further questions. Thanks, everybody, though I see other comments, and thanks for that. Every comment that any feedback is more than welcome. Please, if you have anything to add, any feedback, any opinion, please share it either in the comments or just engage with us in Discord or Twitter. Thanks everybody for being here. Do we have anything else? I'm looking at Sam. Do you want to add?
Well, we have one more question from Sean.
All right.
Jones. And
please.
It would be we should answer it. It came in very late, but his question is, can someone please explain simply what we're trying to accomplish with platform? It's been so long. Whenever I say it's been so long, I always think of a song that I'm not sure what the end state is now. How does a user benefit from platform? So yes, I'd like to answer that one. Users only benefit when a problem actually happens and another solution no longer works. We can see this very often, like Ethereum, where MetaMask went down. Centralized solutions are good until they're no longer good. In overall, world systems. Some people are very happy with centralized solutions. Some people are not. What is Dash platform? It is the ability to get back any data verifiably from a source of truth. So that might be not understandable for many people. It means that you can store data and then you can get back the data efficiently without anybody ever tampering with the data, without any central authority ever having the data, without any central point of failure. And I don't think actually any blockchain has this. While you can get back data from many blockchains, you have to get back a ridiculous amount of data to just prove a small thing. So it doesn't like work on a phone or a quick system. This is extremely quick to get back queryable data. So the possibilities are very big. You can make a Twitter on it. You can make anything that it's hard to say anything that's in Web 2.0, but eventually probably everything that's in Web 2.0 you could make in Web 3, right? So, you know, there are a lot of possibilities that are very interesting. And yeah, that's pretty much what we've been building. When I think that it is hard for many people to grasp the difference, but you know, hopefully when new projects occur and when more centralized services end up going down, people will see the benefit.
All right, thank you. Any other final words? If no, then thanks for your attention. Thanks for asking your questions and watching us, and see you in 2 weeks.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.